Does the idea of playing big beat sticks and attacking turn after turn sound boring to you? Do you enjoy finding unique and alternate ways to win in card games? Then do I have the deck for you. Hello, I'm Constellation Gaming, and today on Decklist December, we'll be taking a look at my build of Mill. So without further ado, let's get into the video. To start off the ELESTRALs, we have our mandatory 3 copies of Astrabbit, a 2/5 Thunder Elestral that states whenever this Astrabbit receives 1 or more Thunder Spirits, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put 1 into your hand, and shuffle the rest into your library. Astrabbit is an extremely broken card, and there's no real reason to get into that, so we'll move into the rest of the ELESTRALs. We're playing 3 copies of Lumaru, a 5/2 Solar Elestral that states when this Lumaru destroys an opponent's Elestral in battle, that opponent must send the top 3 cards of their deck to the Underworld. Our main deck might not be to win combat and destroy our opponent's spirit deck, however, Lumaru will help us to defend our key Elestrals, and also his ability will help us further the mill strategy we want to play. Next, we have 3 copies of Humbust, a 1/2 Fire Elestral that states when a player casts a rune, an opponent must send the top 2 cards of their deck to the Underworld. This Humbust effect can only be activated up to 4 times a turn. Humbust is the most critical card in our deck, and it is essential we protect it at any cost. Moving on, in order to recycle runes, we are playing 2 copies of Ash Rabbit, a 2/5 Fire Elestral that states when this Ash Rabbit receives 1 or more Fire Spirit, you can target 3 cards in your Underworld, then an opponent chooses one of them, return that card from your hand or spirit deck. Return that card to your hand or spirit deck. That's right, this deck has all the bunnies. Aster Rabbit for the early game, Ash Rabbit for the late game. No matter when you need it, these big booty duties have got you covered. Since our strategy takes a little bit to work, and in order to stall our opponent's board, we're playing 2 copies of Ursko, a 2/3 Frost Elestral that states when this Ursko is attacked during the damage step, you can return attacking Elestral to its owner's hand. It's essentially a shield on a body and is great for a deck like this. To finish out the Elestrals, we have 2 separate 2-drops. We are playing 1 copy of Ruminous, a 7/4 2-drop solar that states when this Ruminous deals damage to an opponent, they must send the top 3 cards of their deck to the Underworld for each spirit they expended. Not only can he work as a big beat stick in this deck to protect our Humbus, he can also possibly mill if he gets in for damage. And we're also playing 1 copy of Lavalith to finish off the Elestrals, a 2-drop 6/4 that states this Lavalith can be normal cast with 2 fire if an opponent has at least 2 or more enchanting spirits on the board than you do. When you cast this Lavalith, you can target and destroy a rune. Now, since we're playing a very defensive deck, it will be very easy for our opponent to have 2 or more enchanting spirits than us, so we can easily take advantage of this by playing the 1 copy of our Lavalith. Before we continue the video, I want to remind everybody that I will be giving away a Reverse Stellar Exaltus. All you have to do to enter is like the video and subscribe to the channel, and you will be entered to get this beautiful card. Now, without further ado, let's continue the video. To start off the runes, in order to keep us on high resources, we're playing 3 copies of Nectar of the Gods, a 2-cost Omni rune that states draw 2 cards. Not only does it give us the benefit of drawing 2 cards, but along with Humbust, will provide a mill 2 for our opponents. Next, we're playing 3 copies of Avalanche, a 1-cost Frost Invoke rune that states each player sends the top 3 cards from their deck to their Underworld. If you control a Frost Enchanted Elestral, you can send an additional 2 cards from your deck to your Underworld.
So this can represent a 1-cost mill 5 if you have either Humbust or Earth Scout on the field, so it's extremely powerful in this type of deck. Next, in order to keep us in the game, we are playing 3 Ambrosia, a 1-cost Omni Rune that states return up to 3 spirits from your underworld to your spirit deck. Not much to be said about this, considering everything in the game costs your life. We need to play it in pretty much every single deck. In order to make sure we don't get snowballed, we are playing a large suite of removal runes. We're playing 3 copies of Cryoblast, a 1-cost Frost Invoke rune that states target an Celestial that is not Frost Enchanted until the end phase, give it -2 defense, and when that Celestial has hit 0 defense, you must destroy it. We're playing 1 copy of Earthquake, a 2-cost Earth rune that states target and destroy an Celestial. We're playing 1 copy of Resting on Your Laurels. If an opponent has 2 or more enchanting spirits than you do, target and destroy the Celestial with the least enchanting spirits. Our next removal spell, and transitioning into counter runes, we're playing 3 copies of PTA, a 1-cost Omni rune that states Poison Tipped Arrow can be only be cast when an opponent casts an Celestial, target it and give it -2 attack until the end phase. During this turn's end phase, you can expend equal to the enchantment cost of the Celestial in order to destroy it. The -2 won't be too relevant most of the time, seeing as how our Humbust is an extremely small body. However, the removal is a necessary piece. Now we'll be speedrunning the rest of the counter runes because it is just the rest of the typical 12 that we play. We're playing 3 copies of Gorgon's Gaze, 3 copies of Shield of Achilles, and 3 copies of Tsunami. Gorgon's Gaze is there to say no to anything that an Celestial could do. Tsunami blanks an entire battle phase as long as they're not water enchanted, and Shield is there to bounce anything that threatens our Humbust back to their hand. Moving on to the Spirit deck, we'll be playing 2 of each of these. We'll be playing 2 Zaptor, 2 Illuminape, 2 Leviathan, and 2 Teratlus. And then we also have 6 copies of Flurmine and 6 Vipyro. That will do it for this video. Would you run this deck? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to see what content I put out next. Peace.